To pray, there's no angels where I go. Only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Quirkless here. Now, this is going to be part 1 to What If Deku Had Confidence. And this series was actually a bit trickier to figure out. My original idea was to start it around before the anime started, but I decided to start it a bit, well, around the introduction to the anime. So, let us pick up about with Midoriya. He is around the age of 4, and Bakugo was bullying the boy. Now, Midoriya, during this fight, whenever he does try to defend the kid, something different would have happened. The kid would have actually gotten back up, and Midoriya and this boy would actually fight back against Bakugo and his goons. They would not have been able to win, but with Midoriya not being outnumbered as much, Bakugo would have been at least hurt. And this would prove to Midoriya that Bakugo, he may be strong, but he's not the strongest. All Might is. That is something he knows. All Might needs to be the strongest to be the number 1 hero. That just means that he's right. Now, this would be where Midoriya, he is talking. Everyone's in class and more people have manifested their quirks. Midoriya is waiting on his. He knows that he will manifest one. He should manifest one, right? Everyone does. However, let us cut over to a little bit of time later. Whenever Midoriya, he gets the Quirk Doctor. And the Quirk Doctor tells him that he is not going to be manifesting a quirk. In fact, you are quirkless, kid. Now, the news would have shocked Midoriya, and he would have been a bit mad, but also a bit more confused, asking how is that possible. The doctor just explaining that he has this joint in his toe. Whenever you have this joint in your toe, this basically means that you will not manifest a quirk. And, well, Inko is a bit surprised, explaining that she has 4th generation telekinesis while his dad has a fire-breathing quirk. And Midoriya, he's still kind of confused. Not really sure what to say. But there is something in the back of his head, telling him that he can be a hero. He knows that he can. Now, with that, Midoriya would just tell the doctor that doesn't matter. He can still be a hero, right? The doctor a bit taken aback, standing up and telling the kid that he can't. He can be a police officer and other things like that. But, well, a hero might be out of the question. But hey. Well, your chances are a lot better if you just become a police officer. Besides, heroes put themselves in trouble every single day. Do you really think that would be a good idea, kid? Going through that? Besides. Now, Inko would have actually been a bit more defensive, since the doctor's basically trying to put down her son, telling the doctor that he is overstepping things, and that he can dream. Now, Midoriya would have actually seen this in his mother. Her somewhat newfound confidence. She was trying to stay calm, but she did let that out a little bit. Now, whenever they do get back home, Midoriya would have been looking on the computer and trying to, well, watch the old videos of All Might. Watching him saving people and doing what he does best. Before something does show up on screen. He sees a couple videos of other pro heroes. Some of them with different styles of quirks. In fact, he does see some that just have quirks that don't affect their physical bodies. Meaning people like people like Endeavor, the number 6 hero, Eraserhead, and some other people, along with edge shots. For those of you who do not know who that last one is, he's the guy who can basically turn his body as thin as paper. He's the guy I believe who restrained Kirigiri in the, raid against the villains. But yeah, now, after looking into and finding more of these heroes, he would realize that their quirks aren't physical. They don't have increased durability, they're still human. Meaning that they're just that powerful because of the way they use their abilities. In fact, he does look through a couple of Endeavor's old fights. A lot of them he does use his quirk, yeah, but he usually gets into a struggle with the villains. And he does save a lot of people. So he could still try and become like a rescue hero or something like that. Now, Midoriya would have just been thinking about this, looking through more and more and more. An entire list of pros with quirks that are not physical or durability based. A lot of them he doesn't recognize, but, he thinks he's at least heard before or seen. Now, with that, Inko, she would have walked in. And Midoriya would have asked that question if he can still become a hero, even without a quirk. To which she would just say, as she would run over to him, that yes, he can. In fact, she believes in him, with tears in her eyes, telling Midoriya to never give up on his dream, and that if he sets his mind to it, she believes that he can accomplish it. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, he would have understood this. And whenever he does go back to school the next day, people do hear about him being quirkless, and try and make fun of him. However, he would have just told them that he is quirkless, yes. That is not a bad thing. As he began to list off some pros, he memorized their names along with looked into them. If he can learn some of their fighting styles and, learn how to defend himself in general, then he could probably become a good ranking pro hero, even without a quirk. Now, with that being said, Bakugo would still try to berate and put Midoriya down, as he would still try and bully Midoriya. However, Midoriya would have pushed back, Bakugo getting annoyed by this, until he does eventually beat up Midoriya. To which, Midoriya, he would have told his mom about this. Inko would have gotten mad and angry, as she would have told Midoriya that she is setting him up for self-defense classes. Her not really sure what to sign him up for would begin to, ask him different things, getting him to look into some, as he would get signed up into karate and boxing, along with mixed martial arts. She does want him to get into some of these classes, but she believes that karate would be the best one for right now. So, Midoriya would begin to learning the basics and actually starting to train a bit. Inko helping Midoriya get on a, healthy diet, or at least start one. Along with that, she would also go out for runs with him and begin to at least try and help train him. Slowly at first. Until his body will be, until he's old enough to actually start training physically harder. Now, Midoriya would have gone to this dojo and met the karate instructors. And they would have been surprised to hear about a quirkless kid, meaning that he may be taught differently than everyone else, since a lot of the kids here aren't quirkless. They all do have a quirk, or, multiple quirks in fact. They might be weird and strange, but they still do have more than one, meaning that they will have to go through certain hoops to use and whenever they do train, or try and learn martial arts. Since if you basically have a kid who has a quirk that basically means that he can pass through anything without meaning to, then he could try and punch you in the face, but completely face through your head, and probably kill you. Or you have a kid who has like bendy fingers, and whenever he goes to throw a punch, he could accidentally hit you in the face a certain way, or poke one of your eyes out. Since whenever he does go to close his hand, his fingers can stick upwards and through his hand. Basically, odd quirks that would be a double-edged sword in the situation. Midoriya being taught in a different class. Now, with that being said, Midoriya would start learning karate, and actually have a bit of fun with it. Since he does learn the basics, along with actually his mom being there to see this. Him beginning to practice it at home, and learn more. Now, with that being said, a lot of people around Midoriya's school do actually at least know what he's doing. Since there's this one kid with an odd quirk who is actually taking one of these karate classes one day. And they did see Midoriya at least around the dojo. Or at least his name signed in. And they would have asked him exactly what is he doing. They do know about him being quirkless, but, well, Midoriya would just explain. He's gonna learn how to fight and become a good hero. In fact, well, as he was just someone bring his hand up, saying that he's been taking those classes for a couple weeks now. So, I think I'm getting pretty good at it. Bakugo basically running forwards, charging at Midoriya and getting directly in front of him, telling him that he cannot be good at anything. He's just a quirkless nobody. And that, as he would just go on insulting Midoriya actually getting a bit angry. While Bakugo is laughing, Midoriya would bring his arm backwards and directly punch him in the face. And Bakugo would actually go falling backwards, hitting the ground as he does have a bloody nose. Actually, a bit surprised, as Midoriya would just stand over him and say that does not matter. I've told you this once, Bakugo, and I will tell you again. I'll be your first quirkless hero. As Bakugo would have been a bit shocked, and then annoyed, going back to stand back up as he would come charging at Midoriya with his quirk. Midoriya just bringing his hands up and just thinking, okay, what to do? As he actually does see Bakugo, his arms are wide, and the way he's using it, he's going to throw out his right hand. He does at least pay attention to the way other people do fights. And from all the times Bakugo has beat him up before, he does know him a bit too well. Midoriya actually shifting a bit to the right. Bakugo coming outwards with his right hand, as Midoriya would just bring up his leg, kicking Bakugo directly in the side, as hard as he can. Bakugo going to blast an explosion, but his hand would move sideways and upwards. As whenever it does blast, it does almost hit Midoriya. However, the teachers would have come running over and told them to break it up. Basically seeing that Midoriya is standing over Bakugo. And a lot of people do actually comment on that, as Bakugo would have told Midoriya that does not count. He got lucky with that. You still won't ever beat me. Midoriya just telling Bakugo that he wasn't planning on beating him. In fact, he just wanted to show him that even quirkless people can be stronger than you. Besides, we used to be friends, Kachan. I know that. Deep down you're afraid. Everyone a bit confused. As Bakugo would just get angry and start yelling that he's not afraid of anything. In fact, as he would go on saying that one day he'll even beat All Might. He will fight him one day. And when that day does come, just watch him. He will win. Being to just rant off and start shouting as loud as he can, disrupting quite a lot of people. Now, Midoriya would continue training, along with actually being to do more at home. Now, Inko does help Midoriya. In fact, the only reason why Midoriya is even doing any of this is because his mother's encouraging him. She's actually been a really big help to him. And he is happy about that. He's actually really well excited. Now, Midoriya would be learning karate today. And actually deciding that, well, the teachers would decide that after a couple of weeks of learning and training more, he's actually improved quite a bit. So they would move him up in the belt ranking. And he would be really excited about that. Along with actually learning more about other forms of training. He does learn about what Eraserhead does do with the whole scarf thing, and many people online have tried to recreate it. But they're not too sure how he even does it. So, yeah, that's a bit odd and weird. But he could probably get pretty good with something soon. Now, Midoriya does think, but hey, he can just stick with mixed martial arts for right now. That could be the next on his list. Or he could take judo or boxing, other things his mom tried to sign him up for. Now, around this time, let us cut up to about a year later. Midoriya is beginning to actually start more and more physical training, getting a bit more serious with it. And people around Midoriya actually do begin to respect him. He does work hard, and try more and more. Along with that, whenever Midoriya basically does have to step in a lot of the time and actually defend people from Bakugo. Midoriya being seen as a Quirkless protector. Now, with that being said, today's incident would be a bit different. Whenever Bakugo does try to attack Midoriya, Midoriya would have been able to use karate, being able to block and actually dodge Bakugo's arms, staying away from his palms and making sure that he cannot strike him with them. Anytime he does use an explosion, however, he would be able to blast his hand backwards, smashing Midoriya into the face. So that would be the downside to these things. So Midoriya would try and predict and counter Bakugo, but still. Eventually the teachers would have had to break it up. And Midoriya would learn that he has to start working on other things, other than just fighting style. He needs to physically toughen his body and improve upon his reflexes. So yeah, that's going to be more tricky. Now, Inko, she would have heard Midoriya at least mentioned today, and begin to look into more things. Her and him playing baseball and other things like that to help increase his reflexes. Along with her thinking that the one thing she saw to help him increase his physical toughness was called iron bone training. Yeah, that might not be a good idea. Especially because it is vital to martial arts, but they don't teach it for the specific reason that it's basically like, well, physically abusing the body. And if anything does go wrong, you can seriously injure yourself. Now, Enko would have still been a bit more on the fence about that. But Midoriya would have been insistent. His newfound confidence beginning to show. As he does go to his room and begin to do push-ups and sit-ups. Along with later on into the night, him and his mom going out on a bit of a run. And after that, they would have fun and relax a bit on the couch. Now, with that being said, Midoriya would be just training more and more, and trying to work harder and push himself. Until one day, He does just feel exhausted, and his body is so tired he cannot move. Whenever he does actually go to his karate class, the teachers would have noticed that, and try and ask Midoriya what is going on. And just explain that he's been training every single day to try and get stronger. Before some of the teachers do tell him that that is not a good idea. In fact, there is a difference between training too much and training too little. Right now, it appears that you are training far too much for someone your age. If you continue on like this, young man, I believe that you will hurt your body more than you will believe. So, for right now, just take a couple days off and let your body heal and relax. Otherwise, as he would just begin to explain the situation to Midoriya, him not really, well, wanting to care, but since this man is considered to be an expert on subjects like this, he would have listened and take the next couple days off. Now, with that being said, I do believe that that will clear up part 1 for What If Deku Had Confidence. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.